Julie and Todd Chrisley of Chrisley Knows Best fame recently saw their time behind bars get cut short after being pardoned by President Donald Trump. Since then, there have been quite a few headlines concerning their time in prison, as well as what will happen to them now. Recently, one woman who claimed to be in the same federal prison as Julie has opened up about what the star was like during this time. Julie Chrisley was originally set to serve a 7-year sentence in Lexington before being pardoned. Chrisley Knows Best stars Todd and Julie were convicted back in 2022 over charges including bank fraud and tax evasion. Julie initially reported to the Federal Medical Center in Lexington, where she was set to spend a 7-year sentence. For his part, Todd was set to spend a sentence of 12 years at the federal prison camp in Pensacola. However, Todd and Julie would get a reprieve from their sentence in 2025 after receiving a presidential pardon from President Donald Trump. Since then, on social media, a woman claiming to be one of Julie's fellow inmates opened up about the Chrisley Knows Best star's time behind bars. The woman, identified as Brooke, or Taser, claimed, "I just got out of the federal prison camp in Lexington, Kentucky. Let's do a get ready with me." The TikTok video touched on how Julie was with the other inmates. Brooke then explained, "The camp was all open, so I did talk to Julie multiple times, and I honestly have no complaint. She was really, really nice, actually." Brooke also confirmed that Julie had to work during her time in prison. As she shared, everybody in the camp who was able to work was required to work until Julie Chrisley did have a job, and she worked in commissary. Brooke also explained how Julie was like with her fellow inmates. Opening up, she shared, "I'm never the type to stick up for people based on their status. This included their political status, their social status, their celebrity status, whatever the case may be." Some fans familiar with the prison also shared similar stories in the comments. Speaking positively of the star, Brooke continued, "But I've definitely seen her go out of her way multiple times to help somebody." She especially highlighted Julie, helping people in commissary that just got there understand how it works, etc. She was really, really sweet. During her parents' time behind bars, Savannah Chrisley also openly spoke out against prison conditions. Brooke also ended the video by sharing similar sentiments. As she noted, "It is true that the living conditions of the camp were really, really bad. There was no AC there, even on the hottest days. There's asbestos in the ceiling. There's lead paint." Taking to the comments, fans also shared their thoughts on the story. A few also claimed to be familiar with the camp and weighed in on the share. Some comments included, "For years, Julie Chrisley was seen as the Southern belle of reality TV, a devoted mother, supportive wife, and the composed heart of Chrisley Knows Best. But after she was sentenced to prison in early 2023 for financial crimes, the public wondered how the impeccably polished matriarch would survive life behind bars. Rumors swirled about Julie being too soft for prison, too fragile, too privileged. But according to one fellow inmate who served time alongside her at the Federal Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky, the truth couldn't be more surprising. "She was nothing like I expected," said the former inmate, who requested anonymity for safety reasons. "I thought she'd be stuck up or scared. Instead, she was kind, strong. A little sad, yeah, but always trying to lift other people up. A soft-spoken force in a harsh place." Julie entered prison in January 2023 with a 7-year sentence hanging over her head. The adjustment, according to insiders, was brutal, especially for someone who came from luxury homes, private chefs, and television fame. Her first week, you could tell she was in shock, the inmate recalled. "She didn't cry in public, but her eyes said everything. I remember she sat in the corner of the cafeteria and barely touched her food. A lot of us assumed she wouldn't last a month. But slowly, Julie began to adapt, not by building walls, but by building connections. She didn't act like she was better than anyone," the inmate continued. "She said please and thank you to the guards. She helped clean the common area without being asked. One time she gave up her commissary slot so another girl could call her kids. The prison mom role. While some celebrities might try to isolate themselves or lean on special treatment, Julie seemed to take the opposite approach. According to multiple inmates, she quietly stepped into a mom role behind bars, offering advice, encouragement, and, when possible, comfort. She made the bunk next to her feel like a little safe zone, another former inmate shared. If you needed someone to talk to, she'd listen. She never gossiped or asked why people were locked up. She said, "That's not who you are. It's just where you are." Her calm demeanor reportedly helped resolve several tense moments inside the facility, including one incident where two inmates began arguing over a bunk assignment. Julie stepped between them, not in a bossy way, but like a big sister. She said, "Come on, y'all. This ain't worth it." And somehow, they backed down. The inmate remembered. That's the kind of influence she had. She also taught a small group of women how to cook Chrisley style using whatever limited ingredients were available, like commissary ramen, peanut butter, and instant rice. She'd say, "Let's make something that feels like home," the source added with a smile. She turned a microwave burrito into a 5-star meal. Her quiet struggles. Still, prison life wasn't easy for Julie. She missed holidays, birthdays, and family milestones. Several inmates recalled seeing her quietly wiping away tears after visits with her children, especially Savannah and Chloe. "She never wanted pity," said the anonymous inmate. "But we saw her pain. She talked about her grandbaby. She worried about her husband every day. She'd say, 'I just hope Todd is okay. I know he tries to be strong.'" Julie reportedly kept a small notebook by her bed where she wrote prayers, notes to herself, and affirmations. She sometimes read passages aloud to others who were struggling emotionally. She told us that the hardest part wasn't the food or the cold beds, it was the guilt, not just for what she did or didn't do, but for what her family was going through because of her, the source said. Still, she never let bitterness define her. She said, "I can't change the past, but I can be decent in the present." That stuck with me. The guards took notice. Interestingly, several staff members at the facility also reportedly viewed Julie as a model inmate. While she never received preferential treatment, guards allegedly appreciated her respectful tone and cooperative nature. She didn't ask for anything special, one former staffer told a prison reform podcast. If anything, she gave more than she took. You could tell she was trying to do her time without causing waves. Some even said she served as a stabilizing presence in her unit, with fewer conflicts and complaints when she was around. There were days when her presence made things better, for inmates and officers alike, the podcast guest shared. A different kind of legacy. With her sentence now reduced and her release date drawing nearer, Julie's fellow inmates say her impact will linger long after she walks free. "She made prison feel a little more human," said the original source. "She showed us grace, even when she was going through hell." In fact, several women have written letters to Julie since her transfer to a halfway house, thanking her for her support and encouragement during their darkest days. "I told her she didn't just survive prison. She changed it." One letter reportedly said, "You reminded us we're still people. You reminded me I'm still a woman, a mother, not just a number." Plans for the future. Julie has yet to speak publicly about her prison experience, but insiders say she's planning to advocate for incarcerated women after her release. According to Savannah, Julie has kept journals chronicling her time behind bars and is considering turning them into a memoir or a documentary. She wants to tell the truth, Savannah said on her podcast. Not just her truth, but the truth about what women go through in these places. The pain, the isolation, the strength it takes to keep your head up. And the women who shared time with her, many hope her voice will be heard. She wasn't perfect, the inmate said, but she was real. And if more people in the world acted like Julie did in prison, gentle, respectful, human, maybe we'd all be a little better off. In a place meant to strip away identity, Julie Chrisley found a way to give others their dignity back. And now, They want the world to know who she really was when the cameras were off, the walls were cold, and kindness meant everything.